Episode 1 of The Devil's Hour Season 2 starts with Lucy's mum out in the rain. Dressed in white, Sylvia heads back to her house after being lost in thought, unlocks a closet and grabs her gun. A letter on the table is addressed to Lucy, and just like that, Sylvia pulls the trigger. And the time, yep, is 3:33 AM. Fast forward to Lucy as a teen, and she still hasn't opened her suicide note. She's staying with foster parents who she doesn't get on with very well. She speaks to Dr. Bennett in therapy about her feelings of bitter resentment, and it's here she opens a letter and begins to read through. This crashes her resolve as Lucy lashes out and curses. As the tears flow, Bennett is there to comfort her before Lucy heads off and scatters her mum's ashes, gaining some form of closure around this. Lucy's life changes though when she tries to steal some cheap booze from the local convenience store. In the police car, she speaks to none other than Nick Holness. This is, of course, the detective who worked with Ravi in Season 1. Here he admits that being a cop has its perks. He's pretty impressed by Lucy's deduction skills and believes she'd be a better detective than he is. This sets off a chain of events where Lucy becomes a detective, only she's not so great with her people skills. She's single, as is her partner Ravi, but the pair start to grow closer together. Lucy is consumed by her work though, and she's constantly trying to find a pattern to what's happening around her. The next day, 2 kids go missing. Amanda Milton and Margot Jackson disappear at around 5 PM, and nobody seems to have any information. However, this is where the red Nissan ties into the case. The footage last seen with the kids includes this red Nissan as well. Tragedy strikes again that night. This time it's Shane Fisher who's arrested for killing his wife, and Lucy is shook up when she's almost killed with the knife he's carrying. This is also the same night that Gideon kills Harold Slade, the man stabbed 3 times in the first episode of Season 1. Only the timeline is different this time around, and it soon becomes clear how. Brief shots of Gideon soon pave way for us meeting Isaac for the first time in this episode. Lucy doesn't recognise her own son, and of course this timeline is very different from the one we saw last season. Isaac refuses to leave Lucy's side though and struggles to let go of her hand, which he holds in the car for as long as he can. When Ravi turns the radio on though, Isaac inexplicably disappears. Ravi tries to find him, wandering through the woods, and ends up at an abandoned house. As for Lucy, she's distracted as she watches the body brought in from the lake. The only clue they have to go on is a red Nissan, which eventually brings in Harold Slade. This red Nissan belongs to Gideon, and Lucy soon realises that everything is connected. She organises a hit on where she believes Gideon to be and finds the car for herself. Lucy deduces that there's another car Gideon is using given the nearby petrol can, and that is of course absolutely correct. After swiftly dispatching Ravi, Lucy catches up with Gideon. He brings up how there will be 17 dead bodies, 11 of which children, the following year. Gideon also knows exactly what she's going to say, but the turning point appears to be this police interview. Gideon tells her he's going to stay alive this time. He's doing this for her as he wants to work together. He'll be ready when she's willing to speak. Lucy is called out that night to the house fire at the Warrens' place. If you'll remember, this is the house she initially was staying in with Isaac in Season 1. Lucy seems to sense this and gets a horrible case of deja vu, which is where we left off in Season 1 with that cliffhanger. Lucy heads round to the garden and finds Isaac in the playhouse. Well, I say she finds him, but when she opens up the play doors, he's not inside. Spooked, Lucy shows up at the hospital where Ravi is recovering. She kisses him and the pair finally do decide to get together. Eventually they tie the knot. When Lucy's health takes a turn for the worst, Lucy shows up at the prison and speaks to Gideon. Gideon promises to save her mother's life, which seems to be the catalyst for where all of this started. But after that, Lucy is going to surrender to the chaos and it'll wake her up. In doing so, she'll lose everything in this life. Similarly though, she may be able to save all those who died. Lucy, on her deathbed, promises to find Ravi again. As she passes away, Lucy claims to hear music, and this inevitably brings us to the Season 1 timeline. Lucy wakes up in hospital following the house fire that knocked her out, but this time she remembers Ravi as her husband. Season 2 wastes little time slipping back into the same eerie and off-kilter tone the first season had when it dropped several years ago. If you're a little rusty on the details for this one, I'd highly recommend going back and watching that to refresh your memory, because a recap that Amazon offers is not great if I'm honest. However, this episode does a really solid job of showing how different timelines can be, well, different, but also similar in aspects of structure and tone. Seeing Lucy walk a very different path in life, while simultaneously slowly starting to remember and piece together bits of her life, works really well. The show has done a solid job so far, capturing the essence of what made Season 1 so captivating. Jessica Raine is outstanding in her role as Chambers, while there's no introduction needed for Peter Capaldi. The man effortlessly slips back into the chilling role of Gideon to perfection. Quite how this is going to play out across the season though remains to be seen, but there's plenty here to whet the appetite. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.